foundation on your face. The thing from which you can build your makeup on top of. Shani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101, and welcome back to my Beauty Bargains series. This edition of Beauty Bargains is going to be on foundation. Now, I really wanted to do a foundation Beauty Bargains because I have a lot of foundation from high-end and low-end, like drugstores. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, a lot of my drugstore foundations are the ones I reach for on a daily basis versus my high-end foundations. If you guys aren't familiar with my Beauty Bargain series, that's essentially what the concept is. I like mentioning products that I choose to use over my high-end options. I will be honest, I do feel like foundation is getting pretty expensive in the drugstore. Now liquid foundations are ending up being $15, $16 at a Walgreens. But you know, I'd still rather pay $15 than $50. So if I can get a $15 foundation that is better quality or equal quality to the $50 foundation, I will use the $15 one. So in this video, I have 3 liquid foundations and 3 powders to mention. Let's start off with a classic foundation. This is such a classic foundation. I'm sure if you guys have tried a foundation from the drugstore, you've probably tried this one at some point in your life. It is the Revlon Colorstay foundation. This is the one for combination to oily skin, and the shade I have in here is called Caramel. Now, this one is a little dark for me, as you can see, but the shade that's one down from Caramel is quite a bit too light. So what I usually end up doing is mixing this in with another foundation or mixing it in with a little bit of moisturizer or something to kind of water it down a little so you can't tell it's not exactly the right color for me. I probably need to invest in the lighter bottle of this just so I can mix those two together and not try to be like a chemist and mix random things together. Either way, this is a fantastic foundation. It is so long wearing. It dries down completely matte. It covers a lot. This is a medium to almost full coverage foundation. So if you're not looking for a very high coverage foundation, run away from this one. Now my next foundation pick is another one that a lot of people talk about. This is the CoverGirl 3-in-1. It's the All Day Flawless foundation, and the one I have here is in the CoverGirl Queen collection. If you guys aren't familiar with the CoverGirl Queen collection, it's basically a collection of products that are like shade extensions on classic CoverGirl products. The Queen line has an extension of darker shades or shades that will flatter darker skin tones. Now, the CoverGirl original CoverGirl line does have a couple of shades that are darker, but the shade that would be closest to my skin tone is too dark for me. So the CoverGirl Queen line actually has a shade that matches me really well. This shade is called Classic Bronze, and this is actually what I'm wearing on my face today. This one is, once again, a tinge dark for me, but this one does match me really well in the summertime. It's because we're just coming out of the winter months right now that my skin is a little bit lighter than it normally is, but this one normally matches me fantastically, and this 3-in-1 All Day Flawless foundation is such a great quality foundation. It's not too heavy on the skin, it doesn't look too cakey, but it is, once again, a very medium, almost medium full coverage. It's not as much coverage as the Colorstay, but it's getting there. It's not as heavy feeling as the Colorstay either, but it's not as much coverage. And the other one that I really love, this is a new foundation that I did do a full first impressions, wearing it throughout the day, checking in throughout the day type video review on. I'll put a link to that video in the description box down below. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte 24-Hour Foundation. The shade I wear in this foundation is Classic Tan, and it's a pretty good shade match. Once again, a little bit dark. I will say it's really hard to color match yourself to this one because of the foggy window here. I don't know why they did that. As you can see, the other ones that come in this glass bottle, they're clear. So you can clearly see what color is in the bottle. This one, it's kind of like a guessing game. So it's hard to color match yourself, but once you do get a color match, it is a great long-wearing foundation. It covers quite a bit. It's not as much coverage, once again, as the Colorstay. It's maybe even a little bit lighter than the Covergirl 3-in-1, but it feels much more lightweight than either of those other two. It's quite a bit more liquidy in consistency, therefore not feeling as heavy or cakey on your skin. Not that these other two necessarily feel super cakey, but they can get there, especially if you decide to build them up. This one is quite expensive. I think it's $13 or $14 in the drugstore, so not cheap, but you can use coupons, you can find it on sale, so you can definitely get it for less than, you know, the $13, $14 price tag, but it is kind of expensive. Also, do keep in mind that I have really oily skin, so oftentimes I take a liquid foundation, like a long wearing matte liquid foundation, like one of these three that I mentioned, and then I top it off with a powder just to set it, to make it last all day. So the powder I'm actually wearing on my skin right now, in combination with the Covergirl 3-in-1 All Day Flawless, is probably my favorite foundation powder from the drugstore. It is my Revlon Nearly Naked powder. This is just amazing stuff. The shade I have is number 50 Deep. It matches my skin really well. It is pretty much a perfect shade match for me. And for reference, I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, huh? For reference, my skin is an NC 45 in MAC. I feel like MAC is kind of a standard like categorizing system for your skin color, so NC 45 in MAC, just FYI. This powder is so silky. It's really lightweight, but it does deliver quite a bit of coverage as well. You can wear it by itself and still get a good coverage out of this. Now, I did try the Revlon Nearly Naked liquid foundation. That did not make it in this video because it doesn't hold up as well on my skin, but if you don't have oily skin, if you have normal to dry skin, you may really love the Revlon Nearly Naked liquid foundation. Another powder that I think is really good from the drugstore, this is the Maybelline Dream Wonder powder. This is relatively new. I believe it came out about a year ago. The shade I have is the number 95 Coconut, which once again is a pretty good shade match for me, and this is a pretty nice powder. I don't love it as much as the Revlon Nearly Naked. This one can keep me matte all day long. This one doesn't keep me matte all day long, but it's a great powder for those of you guys who don't like powder. It doesn't look powdery on the skin. It really keeps everything looking flawless, and it's almost a luminous powder, if that makes any sense. It doesn't make my skin look as matte, once again, as this one. And then the last product I want to mention in my Beauty Bargains Foundation Edition is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder. This is just a classic powder. This has been in the drugstore for so long. I don't see this going away anytime soon. It's probably L'Oreal's #1 seller. I have tried the True Match Liquid Foundation as well. That didn't make it in this video either because I find it oxidizes really badly on my skin. The shade I have is C7 Nut Brown. Now, it does say on the front here, because L'Oreal True Match does divide their True Match line into cool, neutral, and warm undertones. Normally, I would be a warm undertone, but this nut brown color, it says it's a cool undertone, and honestly, I feel like it's more of a neutral undertone. This really makes my skin look great. It's a great powder. It's really silky. It gives quite a bit of coverage. It's really reminiscent of the Revlon Nearly Naked powder. This one is a little bit more travel friendly, obviously just based on the size. So I do actually really like traveling with this powder. So that wraps up my Beauty Bargains Foundation Edition. If you guys want to watch my eyeshadow edition or the blush edition, both of those videos will be linked in the description box down below, as well as my Beauty Bargains playlist, where I will have 2 more videos videos coming up in the next 2 weeks. I'm uploading them next Monday and then the Monday after that. So stay tuned for those upcoming Beauty Bargains videos by subscribing to my channel. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series so far, and I will catch you guys on Thursday, not for a Beauty Bargains video, but for a lip swatch video. Let's just leave it at that. I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye! Hourglass released, I believe, 6 different variations on this palette. I think there's 6 or 7 of them. It's very, very wearable and it's matte. And I mean, come on, look at that embossing on the actual product.